Are you wondering how you can va-va-voom your body language on Teams and Zoom? By now, we're all really familiar with all these online video conferencing options. But I think some of us may still be wondering about the etiquette, the things to do, and it's a vast area. Today, I want to share with you some tips and suggestions for optimizing your body language when you're in a Zoom or Team meeting. The very first one, number one, is how to stay engaged. One of the questions I get regularly is, can I turn off my video? What do I do to look interested when somebody else is speaking? And the list goes on, you get the gist. The thing about this is that if you've been invited to a meeting, you need to be engaged. The way to be engaged and stay engaged is keep your camera on, look at the camera. If you like people to be on the view in front of you, alternate between looking at the camera and looking at the individuals on your screen so that people can see that you're engaged. And I totally understand that it is tiring being online, feeling like you're on show the whole time. It's really important you do that. Caveat. Life happens, and the caveat to that is that aside from making sure you're on Zoom if you're not speaking, and that's really important, if you've got a lot of things going on around you, if there are kids running around, your dog, if things in your environment are going to distract from what you are saying or what others are doing, then it's okay to turn off the video. But the rest of the time, sorry, you need to stay engaged. And primarily that means looking at the camera. If it's useful for you, turn off the image where you're looking at yourself if you find that's distracting, or just focus on the person that's speaking and do that in your settings. If you need reminding to look at the camera, stick a post-it on so that you remind yourself that's where to look. You don't have to stare at it all the time. I'm not a TV presenter, but it is important that you do that. The other thing that is very useful is to consider your overall environment. So aside from dogs, cats running around or something else going on that's really distracting people, it's worth thinking about your background. So you can see in my background, it's plain, but there are some things there, but not so much that it's distracting. So you can be at one end of the spectrum. One end of the spectrum might be here where there's nothing going on. Over here, there's something, but it's not too busy. What you don't want is a background that people are wondering, oh, that's a half-eaten sandwich there for 3 weeks. What's going on? And those books are very messy. The point is to eliminate distraction. The other thing is yourself. When you go to a meeting in real life, you dress up, you've had a shower, you've brushed your hair, you make yourself presentable, you make an effort. Guess what? Make an effort for these meetings as well. It does make a difference. Even if nobody else notices, and they will, you will feel it yourself. The third tip, people like sometimes Irish people saying that, the third. People do like that. Little segue there for you. So the third tip is what to do with these. So what are you supposed to do with them? So pick a spot. Now, here I'm standing up and I may be sitting down. So you need to think about what to do with your hands. So if I'm all down here, I could be doing anything down here, you can't see them. So the point is to think about what to do with your hands and also to be aware that a certain amount won't be available. In a scenario where I'm sitting down, you may only have visibility on your head and shoulders. And in that scenario, you want to be, using your hands here so that people can see what's going on. You don't want it over your face at any stage, so that's kind of distracting. So keep them within view of the camera is the key thing, and move them in such a way that they're not distracting, because that can happen. So keep them within camera, keep them here, keep them in visibility so that people can see and understand your expression. You're a human. People want to engage with a human. The fourth aspect is about movement. So on the movement side, you want to move, but not too much. And using your hands and your body is a good way to demonstrate movement. That's how we do it. But there's a balance. So too much of me doing all of this all over the shop, and even if I'm keeping it within the camera frame, is distracting. Me sitting the whole time, entranced, engaged, but perhaps not moving very much, people will start to wonder if my broadband has dropped. So these are the things to think about. And the latter is particularly important. If you're a coach, for example, and part of your role is to listen keenly, then you need to make a conscious effort to move so that your client realizes you're still there and doesn't get distracted by the fact that you haven't moved. So keep the movements to a medium level, and remember, research tells us that higher status people move less. I'm not suggesting you do that, but it's something to bear in mind. The fifth and final item to cover is the question of, do you sit or do you stand? The answer, I believe, is it depends. It depends. If you are in a regular meeting and you start standing up, people will probably think it's a bit peculiar. Sorry. But if you're delivering a presentation, standing up can give you much more energy. It allows you to convey what you want to say with more passion, and you've got more space as well to do that. So those are the 5 things that I believe are important to make the most of your body language in online meetings. So a quick recap for you, it's to engage by looking at the camera. Be aware of your surroundings. Keep your hands within the frame of the video. Move, but don't be erratic. Sit or stand, depending on what the situation calls for. Take care.